Okay, now this is the side of the camera that normally I would avoid like the plague, but over the years that I've been doing these things, I've been repeatedly asked about setting up to play darts and how I do my throw and all that kind of things. And to be honest, I've got a couple of problems that I have to keep on top of, and I've found a couple of ways of helping with that. Firstly, number one is setting up to throw in the first place, your stance. I like to stand. The camera's set up in line with the bull from me, so I like to set up so that my arm goes straight through when I do that, straight through the 20, the bull and the 3, but I want to be able to swing my arm as well. The simple reason for that is one of the bad habits I've got is I sort of go like that, and if I do that for like 3 or 4 hours during a competition, it ends up killing. So that's the first thing. I need to be able to swing my arm like that, and the first part of it goes straight through the 20, bull and 3. Okay, so stance is the first thing. I can do it from whichever angle. I can set up over here and still get that nice swing of the arm, but that's what I've got to do. Also, I like to make sure that my elbow's tucked in, so that involves me leaning backwards a little bit so that my arm is upright on that first part. Okay, because if I stick my elbow out like that, they go all over the place. Keeping my elbow tucked in, make sure that the dart goes in a straight line. Second thing. The second thing, problem that I have, is I like to fiddle about with my grip. Now then, the one thing I can guarantee is that if I'm thinking about how I'm holding the dart and messing about with it, and if I'm conscious of it when I pull it up to throw, the last thing I'm going to hit is what I'm aiming at. So my way around that is simply this: throw twice as fast. So you pick them up, you just chuck them one after the other. And what I'm actually aiming for there is not a particular target. What I actually want is just 5 minutes making sure my arm goes all the way through and making sure that I'm getting a little bit of grouping going, so that I'm throwing the same every time. Okay, so nice and quick like that. Okay, the grip. Now then, sometimes I really struggle with thinking about how I'm holding the dart. Okay, and when I'm thinking about how I'm holding the dart, I genuinely can't hit the thing. I'm all over the place. So the way I get over that is I just throw them fast. So fast that I haven't got time to think about how I'm holding them. It's that simple. Grab them, throw them. Grab, 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 throw, throw, throw. That quick. And then it makes it so that you haven't got time to think about how you're holding the dart. Once you're doing it for a couple of minutes, you're sorted. Well, I am. Okay, so I'm just going to have just a couple of minutes just practicing nice and quick, and like I say, all I want to do is get them to bunch together like that. The idea being that I get my arms swinging in the right direction and that I get darts following each other, hopefully. So I'll just keep doing that, like I say, 5 minutes or so. And what you'll find as you're doing this, well, it happens to me, is that you're kind of wanting to aim all the time, and the difficulty is not trying to adjust your throw to try and score big. It's particularly difficult for me in this situation because, quite unusually, I've got the camera smack in front of the board. I'm talking at the same time, which makes it a bit more difficult, but I've got the camera smack in front of the board, so I'm literally having to throw over the top of it. Okay, I'll skip through this stage. Normally I'd have 5 minutes or so just doing that, and then we go on to the third stage. Okay. Third stage. Third stage is, quite simply, you've sorted out your stance, you've got your arm so that it's swinging backwards and forwards nice and straightforward. The next stage is spend a little bit of time aiming that first dart and then follow it with the next two. Okay, so now you are actually aiming for a target. So a little bit of time aiming, and then you can use your first dart as a gauge for where your second darts go. So hopefully if you get your first dart close, because you've worked on your grouping, you should be able to start scoring. I'm not there yet. So now, again, you'll probably need 5 minutes doing this. Just aiming that first dart, following it. And again, it's a lot easier when you're not talking. Okay, let's assume that you've done that for 4 or 5 minutes and you've got your arm flowing nice and free. You're not thinking about your grip, because when you're throwing that twice as fast, you don't have time to think about your grip. And then as you slow down and start aiming at your target, you're still not thinking about your grip. If you are still thinking about how you're holding the darts, stop it, go back to throwing them twice as fast again. But if you forgot about your grip, the next part is, for me, is assessing how I'm throwing. Now then, you see the professionals, and some of them like to have a dart above the treble, and if they don't get a dart above the treble, they'll go straight good down to 19s and throw at 19s. And some people, like Taylor for instance, likes to get a dart just below the treble or in it, and then he can stack them on top. Me personally, I never know what kind of day it is. I never know whether they're going to go above or below. On very rare days I can do either. On most days I can do one or the other. So it's sorting out what kind of day I'm having. Now then, if it's a understacker day, then what I'm then going to do is I'm going to try and aim my first dart on or about that top wire and see if I can get it just below. If it's an overstacker day, which it kind of looks like it is, I need my first dart to go under. But it's kind of like assessing what kind of the way you're throwing that particular day. Okay, so they're the 4 things that I wanted to mention. Number 1, sort out your stance so that your arm is flowing nice and freely. Number 2, forget your grip. Throw twice as fast so that you haven't got time to fiddle about with your grip. Number 3, spend more time throwing that first dart, get the other 2 to follow them. Number 4, assess how your darts are going. If it's easier to stack them one on top of the other, throw your first dart that little bit low. If it's easy to stack them underneath, throw that first dart a little bit high. This is the kind of stuff that works for me. I hope it'll do a little bit of good for you.